village board meeting to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Gust is absent. Trustee Jensen?
Is here.
Trustee Miller?
Here.
Trustee City?
Here.
You're here. Trustee Wells? Attorney Frollo? Mayor Hucker?
Here.
And Clerk McDonald is present.
All right, if you would all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first up we have public comment on agenda items. This would be for any public comments on any items that are already on the agenda. Reminder that we have a 5-minute time limit. There will also be a second opportunity for any and all discussion, public comment at the end of the agenda. Is there anyone that wishes to address the board? Well, there's actually a third opportunity during the public hearing on the budget. But does anyone wish to address anything on the agenda tonight? Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which tonight includes the following 2 items. Approval of the village board regular meeting minutes from February 27th. Bills presented for payment in the amount of $311,476.48. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Miller, seconded by Jensen. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Jensen?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee City? Trustee Wells?
Motion carries. Next item under the mayor's report, we have the annual public hearing on the proposed budget. This is the fiscal year 25-26 budget. We need a motion to open the public hearing.
You have it. So moved.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public hearing is open. This is opportunity for public to address the board with regards to the budget that is pending approval. The budget has been on display in the village.
On the website as well as in the village hall.
Thank you. Actually, before we jump into public comment, I thought I would just give our treasurer, finance director an opportunity to maybe hit some of the highlights, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Mayor. The budget before you this evening totals $9.8 million, with total revenues expected to be about 7% lower than last year, and total expenses running 2% higher. This budget is a balanced budget across all the funds with no debt included and no municipal property tax is being levied, just like all the other prior years since the village was incorporated. And all the priorities as identified by the mayor and trustees are included. The village's fund balances and reserves are very strong, and the capital plan is being adequately funded, both in the general and in the water and sewer fund. And one of the biggest expenditures is the annual road improvement program, which this year is over 3 miles. And that's our largest project, a road project so far.
Okay.
So it's a big project this year. We discussed the budget and went over all the worksheets and numbers in the finance committee and with the chair of the finance committee. And also with staff, I'd like to thank my coworkers and of course Mark and all of you for helping with the budget. And we feel like it's the best we could do at this point for what we expect to happen next year.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Now we'll go ahead and open it up for public comment on the proposed budget. If all we'd ask is that you come up to the podium, give us your name, and let us know your comments. Ted, nothing? Okay, fine.
On the finance page.
Without any public comment, I guess we need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
I'll second that one as well.
Motion by Miller, second by Jensen. All in favor?
Aye.
We are closed. Moving on to reports from trustees then. First item up is Finance Committee, Trustee Johnson.
And surprisingly enough, the lone item that I have on the agenda tonight relates to this budget. Also the date of our next meeting is March 18th, upstairs, 6 p.m. And we will go over some of the line items that we just discussed in the warrant list. This budget is, before I make the motion, I'm going to, there are 20, how many pages? 22 pages of tables I think I'll read.
Please don't.
But the one highlight that I just wanted to point out is the fund balances. The general fund year end versus projected year end of the year that's about to end. It's in the black to the amount of $809,000. Water sewer fund is also in the black to the amount of $220,000. Overall, all funds is in the black to the amount of just over $2 million, which is no small feat to do this. Again, as Peggy said, credit to our staff. They make do. They multitask. The staff is very careful. The board also is. So unusual for municipal finance to be in the black as we always are, and without real estate tax. So that said, I'd like to offer a motion to approve the 2025-26 annual budget for the Village of Beach Park as presented.
We have a motion by Trustee Jensen. Was that a second? Second by Trustee Wells. Discussion?
Question for, you mentioned that going forward, revenues will be down by 7% and expenses up by 2%. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's total of all funds.
Okay.
So if we just look at the general fund, the revenues are projected down, and it's mostly the sales tax, this kind of the switch between local use and sales tax. So hopefully we're being conservative. Hopefully it won't end up to be down that much, but that was
Planning for the worst.
just being conservative.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little line items that are down a little bit, but and then the general fund, the expenses are only going up 1%, so they're virtually flat. So some of the other funds tend to distort it because they're, like the TIF funds, and so if we look at just the general fund itself, the revenue is going down 4%, but that's based on the IML estimates and a
Right.
conservative take on that. But it's still covering the transfers to capital that we want to do, and all the services we provide are still adequate. We're not having any cuts in any services.
Okay.
So
Thanks. What you said about 3 miles, I can remember when 1 mile was a big deal.
Right? Yep.
So 3 miles, it doesn't sound like much, but when you're paying for it to be paved, it is. It really it is. So
Yep.
thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks
You're
to
welcome.
everybody too that worked so hard on it, all the department heads and our administrator. Thanks.
Any other discussion? I will say that it's comforting to know that, it's always comforting to pass a budget that's in the black, to work towards that and accomplish that. Not every community can do that, and Beach Park has never had a budget that wasn't in the black. But in addition to that, we're building funds for vehicle replacement, which is a big change from 20 years ago, that we actually are able to plan for and in an orderly way replace some of these very expensive vehicles that keep our streets and water system, et cetera, working, that we are budgeting for water and sewer system maintenance, which is another thing that, I like to think of our water system, at least in the the eastern half of the village as being brand new. I mean, we just put that in 1990 something. Oops, missed that. We've and we've got other areas that we have structured and planned just like that. So it's not just that we're spending less than we're taking in, but we're doing it with intent. And I'll always continue to be proud of that. So thank you, Peggy, and for everyone, all the staff and the leadership that participated in putting this together, and to the board for vetting it. And I'm happy to be sitting here tonight preparing to pass this. So any other discussion? All right. Well, ask the clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Jensen.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Sidik. Trustee Wells.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Motion carries. All right. Trustee Gus is not here. I understand he's helping a friend get to a hospital. He's been helping a good friend of his that needs cancer treatments and that, and it just shows a little bit about who he is. However, I would be remiss if I didn't remind those that are planning on attending that we have the Luck of the Irish at Bonnie Brook Golf Course tomorrow. And, well, not actually at the course, but in the building. And I'm wondering now, since Richard isn't here, if he'll be adorned in his normal green. Well, I guess we'll find out. All right. Building Planning and Zoning Committee, Trustee Wells. Thank you, sir. Public Relations and IG Committee, Trustee Miller.
Nothing tonight, Your
All
Honor.
right. Public and Safety, Trustee
I do
Sidik.
not have anything with the sheriff's department. That's nothing to report on. Chief, do you have anything to share? Okay, yeah,
All right.
thank you. That's all I have for you.
Sure. Public Works Committee, Trustee Miller.
Not too much for Public Works. Are you putting the salt trucks away and the plows yet? Or-
Yeah, you don't want to hold off a minute.
You might want to, but yeah, maybe not. No, that's all I have.
All right, and no report from the TIF committee as it has not met. Nothing listed under staff reports, any late breaking, anything? No? All right, no old business, any new business to come before the board?
I'd like to mention something
Sure.
that I saw in the news. The village of Winthrop Harbor was scammed out of $700,000, some internet thing. And I'm dying to find out not that I want to go into the business, but how that was accomplished, just for our benefit here. I hope Peggy's on top of that.
I saw that article. I shot it out immediately to our administrator and our finance director. And this rings, this isn't like internal fraud. This is external fraud.
Yeah, this isn't Dixon.
But it opens the questions of checks and balances and reconciliations and everything else. This has happened over a period of time. And without asking for it, I received a very detailed response from our finance director about our checks and balances of our positive pay system with the bank, where there's a verification for every payment that's cleared through the bank. That it's not just somebody presents a check from Beach Park, it says, here you go. There's a system in play. Never mind the monthly reconciliations and fund balances and all of those things. Nobody's perfect, but I'd like to think that it would be caught.
They're getting better.
Much
from
quicker.
What I understand.
Yeah.
The crooks there. Yeah.
Well, and they've had some turnover too. So it could be that they had a lack of continuity in the systems and the checks and balances. So
Well,
it'll be interesting.
I'm
to see
hoping,
the
I'm
rest
glad
of
it was not an inside job, as
Yeah.
most of these are, because that would reflect poorly on our neighbors. But I hope we get the details, or at least the folks that need to have it, get the details as to how this is accomplished.
Yep.
And make sure that the safeguards are in place, that
Yep.
it's not a novel attack that we're not aware of.
Right. Yep. All right.
Just a little interesting news item.
That was the opportunity, final opportunity for citizens wishing to address the board about any and all topics. All I ask is that you come up to the podium, give us your name, state your case. Don't all go at once.
This is going in a different direction for me. I know there's another guy running with this issue. Is there some way we can kind of renegotiate our deal with the city of Waukegan Park District for their use of Beach Road west of Greenway? to help alleviate the traffic to that subdivision. Is
We-
there something we can do about that?
We have communicated with the park board, with the city. It's a village street. The village did grant permission for them to make improvements to the village street so that they could use it for access. When the park district wanted to increase the use by putting a Topgolf type driving range out in front there on Green Bay Road, we stood with the property owners and said, you better figure something out because this isn't going to work this way. And long story short there is they ended up pulling the deal and not doing that development. Didn't change the situation as it exists out there. We've been in contact, staff to staff, elected officials to elected officials. Quite frankly, their answer is tough noogies. And
There's gotta be something we can do to help that subdivision, you know, because all of the parking area from the old golf course there that's sitting there, they can actually put an access road.
sure, absolutely. They don't want it.
They're one of the richest park districts in the state.
Yep.
So, you know.
Yep, they don't want to spend their money. No, I agree with you 100%. I agree with Mr. Hutchinson who has to put up with it. And it's unfortunate.
I feel
Yep.
for the guy and everybody that lives there.
Sure.
I know at one time they were going back through the subdivision when they were exiting out
Mm-hmm.
on Wadsworth Road, and we got that stopped.
That was Wadsworth. They put a one-way street in there and
Well, you gotta give them credit for that. So that's all.
thank you, Dan. All right. All right. Anyone else? All right. Well, we have no cause for an executive session tonight, so
In which case, allow me to make a motion to adjourn.
we have a motion and a second for trustee Siddick. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you all.